Hey guys, today's video is why you can't be friends with a narcissist. Simply put, they're very selfish, they're very self-centered, they're very parasitic in their interactions with other people. They're really only in it for themselves, guys. I mean, wouldn't you rather be with an individual that cares about you just as much as you care about them? See, narcissism is a cluster B personality disorder which causes an extreme lack of empathy. They could give a shit less if your needs are met. They could give a shit less if you have $1 in your pocket. They won't care if you're walking to work. Let's say they have the ability to help you, have a vehicle. They won't help you. They'll just let you walk to work. Even if it's wintertime, they'll let you walk to work. They'll let you walk in rainstorms. They have absolutely no regard for you as a human being, and they could give a shit less about your needs, your desires, your wants, your financial situation. They don't care at all. That's why you can't be these people's friends, because they don't care about you one bit. It's all about them. It's a very, very parasitic relationship, female or male, where you're the one that's going to be pouring in everything. You're the one that's going to be taking a financial hit. You're the one that's going to be financially exploited. This is why you got to get these people out of your life. You can't be involved with them. They're actually really rotten fucking people. They're rotten to the core, but they have that narcissistic mask that they put on to exploit you, to manipulate a situation, to hoover you. Yes, they'll put that mask on to hoover you. Um, I've gotten a lot of people out of my life and they're not coming back. I'm sorry, guys. And anybody watching this video, if you're the narcissist, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're not coming back into my life. You've proven to me how selfish you are, how out for yourself you are. You don't care about me one bit, my situation one bit. You've proven that. So you're out of my life permanently. Don't show up at my house. Don't show up anywhere. I don't want to see you. I don't want nothing to do with you. We are not friends. I'm not accepting these people back into my life. I don't want them around me. I don't want anything to do with them because they're parasitic. They only care about themselves. They don't give a fuck about me one bit. I had a female in my life I had to get out of my life. She was narcissistic. She'd call me up. Hey, can I come stay? And then she'd ghost me a week later. After I let her stay with me out of the kindness of my heart, won't even keep in touch with me. That's a narcissist for you guys. They don't give a fuck about your needs, your wants, or desires. You date a narcissistic female, good luck, guys, because she don't give one fuck about your sexual needs. She don't give one fuck about your needs to be, to have your emotional health, catered to. These are the women that are going to be dating other guys behind your back. Like this year, I dated a narcissist. She had 2 other boyfriends that I didn't even know about, didn't even know them, had never met them. She was dating 2 other guys, fucking 2 other men while she was dating me. Um, why was she doing that, guys? She was doing it for narcissistic supply so that she can get as much narcissistic supply from all these various men. And because I know so much about narcissism, I ended the relationship. I told her, I said, we're done. I said, I see right through your bullshit. I see that you're an exploiter, that you just give a fuck about yourself. You don't care about me at all. You don't care about my sexual needs. You don't care about my emotional health. You could give a fuck less about it. She was going out fucking other guys behind my back and then still wanted me to be her husband, boyfriend at home. I told her, I said, we're done. This is over. I said, I'm not coming back. I'm not texting you anymore. I said, we're over. We're done. I see right through your manipulative bullshit. That's exactly what I said. That was actual quote I said to her. I said, I see right through your manipulative bullshit. And so being able to see the red flags of narcissism, like leech behavior, where they're getting all your resources, but you don't get nothing back for yourself, right? You don't get anything back. They want you to cater to their financial situation, but they're not going to cater to your financial situation. It's just ridiculous. Let's say it's a landlord situation. Let's say you set a rent price for someone, right? and then you go to the person, the narcissist, and you say, I need more rent, they're going to argue about it. They're going to say they don't want to pay it. They're going to refuse to pay the extra rent. Why is that? Because they don't give a fuck about the landlord's needs. They don't give a fuck about the landlord's emotional health, about their physical health. I mean, I actually dealt with this. I rented to some tenants and I told them I need more money for rent. What did they do? They outright refused to pay the extra rent. This meant I had no. This meant because they refused to pay the extra rent. That means I could. That meant I couldn't get a vehicle, so I was forced to walk to work in blizzards, forced to walk home from work in blizzards, forced to walk to work in rainstorms, getting soaking wet on the way to work, getting soaking wet on the way home from work, being at risk of being attacked late at night because I didn't have a vehicle. Could have got robbed. Anything. My emotional health was affected by that. Did the narcissist care? No. What did they do? They refused to pay the extra rent. They refused. And because of that, I had very little money. I had no vehicle. So do you see how that's a very leech relationship? They were getting a nice place to stay, but they didn't give a fuck about my needs, about my financial needs, about my emotional needs. They didn't care at all. I told this narcissistic person, this narcissistic tenant, not to come back to my house. What does he do? He shows up in front of my house the other day, uninvited. I did not invite him to my house. In fact, I sent him an email and I asked him not to come to my house. And what does he do? He shows up at my house with his girlfriend on a brand new motorcycle, uh, apparently just to show off. I didn't let him in my house. I just briefly said hello, asked him where his helmet was, and then sent him on his way, shut the door. um, I'm not letting him back into my life. I'm not letting him back into my house. I'm sorry, but we're not friends anymore. You have proven to me how selfish you are as a person, how rotten you are as a person. I mean, I spent like a year, guys, in drug court. This person only visited me like one time. And guess why he visited? Because he wanted me to sign off on some heating assistance. That's the only reason why he came. And this is a guy that was supposed to be a good friend of mine, right? Because in the beginning of the narcissistic relationship, he was wearing a mask to manipulate me, thinking he was this great guy, thinking he was this great person. When in all actuality, he's like a demon on the inside. He's like a fucking he's an asshole. Let's put it that way. Because a perfect example, I went to him and I told him I need more rent. They were the couple I was renting to. They were paying $440 a month for a 3-bedroom house, and I asked them if they could pay $600. They refused to pay me the $600 and kept paying the $440, knowing that I didn't have the heart to kick the kids out, to kick them out. So do you see how they used my kindness against me? They knew I didn't want to kick their kids out on Christmas. So what did this narcissist do? He didn't pay his rent for 3 months because he knew I didn't have the heart to kick his kids out on Christmas. So that's a perfect example, guys. They'll withhold money. They'll exploit you. Here they're getting a 3-bedroom house for $440 a month, which I could easily have rented for $1,000 a month, easily. And I was just asking for like a couple extra $100. I was asking for $600, guys. They refused to do it. So ultimately, I had to ask them to go. I had to ask them to go because my rent, I was renting an apartment at the time. It was $700 a month. I said, screw it. I'll just move home. So I evicted them. I asked them to go. And, I asked the person, I said, please don't come back to my house. You're no longer welcome at my house. What does this person do? He shows up last week at my house. He shows up this week at my house on a motorcycle out front of my house and actually was looking in my bedroom window. This is the sick fucking shit that narcissists will do. They'll outright disregard your boundaries. Here you are, you're trying to set boundaries with this person. They'll outright disregard your boundaries and just show up at your house. If it gets bad, it may get to the point where if you're dealing with a narcissist, you may have to put boundaries on him. You may have to put a no trespass order on someone like that. Am I going to do that in this situation? No, I'm not going to put a no trespass order on the person. I'm just going to continue to hold my boundaries and say, look, we're not friends anymore. You need to leave. You need to leave the property. We're not friends anymore. Um, this person has completely burned their bridge with me. They treated me like fucking garbage for about 5 years. About 5 years, they were narcissistically abusing me for about 5 years, where only their needs mattered. Only their needs mattered. They didn't give one fuck about me, the landlord. They didn't care about me at all. I was offering a 3-bedroom house to a family of 4 or 5 people for $440 a month, which already was a discount, right? And then last year I went to them and said, I need $600. And then what did the narcissist couple do? They were video recording me without my knowledge. They were video recording me saying how much money I would accept. We actually agreed on $500 and shook on it. And his girlfriend was video recording me without my consent and without me knowing. That's a narcissistic couple for you guys. They're scheming. They're scheming and manipulating. Um, Ultimately, like in regards to that relationship, yeah, it has an expiration date. Narcissism relationships have an expiration date. So will they be together forever? No, because he's going to soon devalue her, and then he's going to want a new shiny toy. He's going to want a new girl to date, right? And then he'll just kick her he'll throw her in the trash like he did to me. He threw me out. He threw me out like a piece of trash on the side of the highway. That's how he treated me at the end of our relationship. At the beginning of our relationship, it was like we were like peas and carrots. We were like best fucking friends, best friends. And so we know what that was. That was the narcissistic mask. He was faking me. He was faking being a good person to exploit me, to get into my house, to rent my house, to financially exploit me. This same person, he financially exploited me for about $30,000. Do the math on that guy on your calculator right now. $440 is what he was being charged for a 3-bedroom apartment. I could have gotten $800 per month at least. I could have gotten $800. So that's a difference of what, $360 difference. Do the math on that. Do 360. They stayed here at my house for 7 years, rented from me for 7 years. Do the math on that. 360 times 7. It equals out times 7 years. That equals out to about $30,000 in savings that I saved him. I saved him about $30,000 just to have them refuse to pay me the extra rent. They were only paying the $440 for the 3-bedroom. And I just asked for 6, and they talked me down to 5, video recorded me for the 5. And still, that last year they rented, they still didn't pay me the $400, the $500 that they had agreed to. They only paid me the $440. What did the narcissist do? After I asked for the $500, he just withheld funds. He wouldn't pay his rent until I finally just caved in and said, just pay the fucking payment. Just pay the $440, because the payment was $440. So that was manipulation on his part. He was just refusing to pay the rent, and unless it benefited him. Should I have had a little bit more firm boundaries and kicked him out? Yeah, I should have. I should have just evicted him right away, is what I should have done. But this was a person that was a best friend previously, until he got new shiny toys, new other relationships, and then discarded me like a piece of trash on the highway, guys. That's what narcissistic individuals will do. So he got about 30 grand out of me and savings, rent savings. So do you see how parasitic that is, guys? He's financially benefiting. He's getting the $30,000, and the landlord is barely getting by. The landlord is walking to work in snowstorms. The landlord is walking to work in rainstorms. Some of this, yes, was my fault, because I should have just kicked his ass out. Yes. So I do admit that some of it was my good heart that kept me from kicking him out. I did care about his family. I do care about his family. But I've had to set boundaries, guys, and say to this person, I'm sorry, we're over. We're done. We're not friends anymore. We can't be friends anymore. You've shown me what kind of person you are. You're extremely selfish and greedy. I don't want friends like that. I don't want people around me like that. You lied to me about your last year of rent. You agreed to pay $500, and then you only paid the $440, screwing me out of like $600 or $700. So this is why we're done. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't do the parasitic relationship where I'm giving everything just to have people financially exploit me, take my stuff, take my bills. Yes, they can be kind-hearted. This same person, he actually stopped someone one time at a bar from assaulting me, uh, helped me with another person who was being aggressive to me. So they can stick up for you. Narcissists are not all bad guys. So this same person, he actually stopped me from getting assaulted one night. So that's an example of narcissists aren't all bad guys, but because it's a cluster B personality in the same cluster as antisocial, histrionic, borderline, it's they have a lack of empathy. So that's an example, guys. I'm walking to work in a blizzard, walking home in rainstorms, and the narcissist had zero empathy for that. Zero empathy for me freezing my ass off walking a blizzard. Zero. He could have helped that by paying the extra rent. You know, even if he paid the 600, that would have given me an extra like $200 I could have thrown on a car payment, right? And maybe I wouldn't have had to walk to work. But he only cared about himself. He only cared about his own needs, wants, and desires. This is why I've ended the friendship. If he shows up at my house again, I'm going to be rude about it and say, please just fucking leave. We're done. I don't want you here. Stay the fuck away from me.